talking about the other day about what you want and what you don't want. And you need to know what you want, right? But then there's another thing about ourselves, that sometimes we have done things that have hurt us. Things that behaviors or habits that we have that have hurt us or that have hurt others. One of the things we know 100% we need to know is that we don't want to harm ourselves. So let's see, I told you to write a list of the things that you really, really want, so you understand what is it that you want in life. Because a lot of the problems we all have is we don't know what we want, and most of the time we're our own enemies. We're the ones that because we don't know what we want, we end up in the wrong relationships, in the wrong job, in the wrong home, in the wrong environment, because we didn't know what we wanted. So let's see, you put your hands on top of a candle that's lit. It's gonna burn you. You're gonna say, oh, I don't want to get burned, right? You know, you put it, it burns you, right? So now you know what you don't want. You don't want to get burned. You don't want to get hurt. So one of the things that we need to do is consciously forgive ourselves for hurting ourselves. Forgive ourselves for hurting ourselves, and we start to forgive ourselves for hurting others. Oh, but I never hurt anyone. I'm so good to everyone. Sometimes we think we're the good guy, but no. Let's just be very objective and say, okay, I'll never hurt myself. I'll never hurt anyone. That's very important. And understand from the bottom of your heart, if you cause the harm intentionally or unintentionally, you have to be objective with yourself. Look at yourself in the soul mirror, right? There's a mirror where we can see our physical selves, but there is no mirror that can see our soul, our mind, right? So how do we do that? We objectively start thinking about, was that what I told my friend hurtful? Why is she angry? Why is my friend angry? And start remembering exactly what happened, exactly what led to the argument, what led to the hurt. Either what led to the hurt to you or what led to the hurt to them, right? Objectively, was I a bee, or was I naive, or I was ignorant, or that person is really like just so used to put me down and I keep putting up with that? When you start looking at things objectively, you start knowing and learning that you could be the problem, or the person you're dealing with is the problem, right? And when the person you're dealing with is the problem, you continuously feel uncomfortable, that's probably a sign that you need to let go. And I always give this example to my friends many times. We buy a beautiful pair of shoes. Us women, we love high heels. Well, I love high heels. So you're wearing your high heels to this, wherever you're going, and it's beautiful. Everybody says, oh my God, those high heels are gorgeous. But the high heel is a little bit uncomfortable. But you still take it because it's so beautiful, right? Beautiful high heels. You go to a party and you say, I'm taking them again. They're beautiful. So what happens? They start hurting you more, and then you're walking and dancing. But you say, I want to look beautiful with these high heels. But suddenly, on the next party that you use them, they start to give you a blister. And then the blister starts bleeding, might get infected. It hurts. It really hurts. Now you cannot use them. But you allow them to hurt you. In life, we continue to use the shoes that look beautiful, that are like, oh, this is okay, this is the best I can do. But it's hurting you. It's hurting you, a friendship, a partner, a child, or a mother or father, whatever it is that's hurting you. You have to walk away. You have to let them go. There's nothing wrong to let go of anything that hurts you. It's nothing wrong to let go of habits that hurt you. And look at yourself to see if you have those habits that are hurting you. What if you have habits that hurt you? Like sleeping late at night and not taking your 8-hour sleep. Or eating when you're not even hungry. Or drinking too much. Anything that's hurting you. Either things that you're doing to yourself or things that someone is doing to you, right? So always think of that shoe. It's beautiful, it's perfect, but it hurts. It hurts. Your body should never hurt Your soul should not hurt either, When you're doing a lot of exercise and the next day, oh, my arms are hurting, right? But that type of hurt is kind of a proactive, kind of like some kind of a delicious hurt. You're doing something for your health, but there are hurts that are not delicious. There are hurts that stay there in your soul, in your mind, and then they're there and they're there and they're there, and the next day is the same thing. You wake up, you look, and you're with someone that hurts you. Even if they don't hurt you physically, anybody that controls your money, that controls how you dress, that controls if you have friends or not, that controls that, oh, you cannot go see your family, that controls every single little thing about you. Even if they don't hurt you physically, they're hurting you internally. One big example of money control is that I heard of people who say, oh, I control his money because he's a big spender, he's irresponsible, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that's his money. Nobody should control your money. Nobody has the right to control your money. Your money is your money. Your money is your money. And whoever wants to say, oh, I'm going to put it here so I can tell you what to do with it, because that's control. Those are people that you need to keep away. Those are the bad shoes, the shoes that's going to get you sooner or later a blister, because there will be a time where you can't take it anymore, because your money is yours. And if you're irresponsible with your money, then you will pay the consequences, and you will learn that I'm my own enemy. But no one has to control it, any type of control, right? Now, discipline in school, discipline for children, it's okay. They need this discipline, they need this control, they need these boundaries, they need these rules, right? When you become an adult, and as a big adult, someone is controlling your money, you're either a victim of domestic violence, and you need to find a way to get out of that situation, okay? You have to start freeing yourself from that, allowing someone to do that to you. Why? Because that's when you didn't know that you don't want to have your money controlled. And what happens is that you start to harm yourself unintentionally. Why? Because the minute you allow anyone to control any part of you when you're an adult, and I say 18 and over, okay? Even 18-year-olds behave sometimes like children. No one can control their money. When you realize that you are getting harmed intentionally or unintentionally, either by your own self or someone else, you need to make a change. And again, I go with the exercising of you writing down what is it that you want and why do you want it. But when you're doing these exercises, you're going to learn that you're going to stop hurting yourself. And you stop hurting yourself, but you start to forgive yourself. When you stop hurting yourself, you start to forgive yourself. How does that go hand on hand? And the way it goes hand on hand is because the minute you forgive yourself, you really forgive yourself for what you've done in the past and what you're doing now, you start to behave different. To get to a point of happiness, you have to go through the whole routine of learning who you are, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you don't want, setting boundaries, right? We always think of setting boundaries means setting boundaries to other people. Oh yeah, you have to have boundaries. No, sometimes we have to have boundaries for our own selves. Sometimes we don't have boundaries. And let's see, we have our salary. It's Friday. By Monday, oh my goodness, we spent it. We didn't pay this bill. So that means you did not put boundaries on yourself, right? So you put boundaries for yourself. So we're talking a lot about yourself, right? Believing yourself, knowing you don't have to prove nothing to no one. That's another one that's kind of not easy, because all of our lives we were taught that we have to prove something to someone, right? We have to prove that we're smart, that we are successful. We have to prove something to someone. And a lot of humans have just given up. to the point where, oh my gosh, I'm never going to be good enough. I'm never going to be able to meet my father's expectations, my mother's expectations, my girlfriend's expectations, my wife's expectations, my children's expectations, my whatever expectations, my boss's expectations, right? You have to believe with all your heart, like I always say, with all your heart, that you don't have to impress anybody. You don't have to impress anybody. You don't have to prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to prove yourself to no one, and you don't have to impress anybody. You know who you have to impress? You have to impress yourself, and you have to prove to yourself who you are, right? If you tell your friend, I'll be there at 5, and you show up 2 hours later, you prove to yourself that you're not reliable, that it doesn't matter. So you're going to pay the consequences of people just rather not inviting you because you're not reliable. They can't count on you. You don't respect their time, right? So even when you need to impress yourself, you don't impress yourself because you don't keep your word to what you said you were going to do, right? Your impeccability of word is your impeccability of your word. So there's people who take that into another level. Oh, I don't have to impress anybody, and I don't have to prove anything to no one. But you are so important that you do need to prove to yourself. You do need to impress yourself. You do need to impress yourself. And let me tell you what, you have to impress your creator also. Because believe it or not, we were created by a power that is not in our hands, in the human hands. So how did you get wherever you are? How did you get where you are? Can you honestly answer the question? If anybody asks you, are you happy? Can you really say, yes, I'm happy? What is happiness? Do you feel like happy? Do you have a purpose? Do you have something that wakes you up in the mornings? Like that Snow White that wakes up and all the birds are singing and talking and all these beautiful forests? That type of happiness that everybody's serving you. And this goes to something very important about the freedom of your life. Freeing yourself from what anybody thinks or says about you. Freedom comes the minute you realize that it doesn't matter what people says or think about you. Why? Because the important person that needs to think amazing about yourself is you. The one that needs to talk beautiful things about you is you. It is you and only you, and believe it or not, what you have, what you think, what you say, what you feel about yourself is what you reflect to yourself. So believe it or not, you're going to start having friends and people and co-workers that start saying things about you that are amazing. Why? Because you became amazing to yourself, because you feel happy, because you're doing the work, because you're understanding, you're forgiving yourself, right? We said forgive yourself. You're understanding how to be enough. You're understanding how to know what you want. You're understanding to write down what you want. But you know what you want by true study of yourself, by objectively looking at yourself, right? You start learning to be your best judge, your best teacher, your best friend. And this has nothing to do with me just saying, oh, you have to be all selfish. No, because when you become the best version of yourself, when you become disciplined to yourself, to your exercises, to your food, to your work, to your goals, to your dreams, you start to become a better version of yourself. Not only that you start attracting business partners, people that wants to work with you, because you're disciplined, because you're working with you, you're being honest with yourself. You're not living in a dirty room or going to work and leaving your entire bedroom a mess and your clothes on the floor and the food that you ate on the table, the wrapping or the bottle of waters in your car, like 5-6 bottles of water. Oh yeah, I drink a lot of water. No, you keep your environment clean, your car clean, your clothes clean, yourself, you respect yourself, you love yourself. You look at your nails, you say, oh my goodness, I want clean nails. You start respecting you, because nobody's going to respect you unless you start respecting you. Nobody's going to give you everything that you want except you start giving yourself everything that you want. But I'm talking about the material things, right? Because the materials just come as an addition. That's it. The inside, you, the you, is what is important. Very important, right? That you start bringing that to yourself. To respect yourself by constantly knowing that you have forgiven yourself and that you can walk with pride and that you accept yourself unconditionally. You walk with pride and you accept yourself unconditionally, right? You're forgiving yourself, but before that, we were working on what you want, right? You walk with pride and you love yourself unconditionally. Because when everybody leaves, you stay with yourself. You look left and right, up and down, and you're with yourself. So you have to love yourself unconditionally. Because if you don't love yourself unconditionally, believe me, it has nothing to do with selfishness. I keep repeating that. Because loving yourself unconditionally doesn't mean you're going to be selfish and self-centered. Those are usually the narcissistic people, and you're not. So one thing I'll recommend, go to YouTube and say, what's a narcissist? Read that. Because that helps a lot of women or men escape the domestic violence of narcissistic abuse. And if you were a victim of that, then you also get help. Because all the narcissistic people that have been abused by a narcissist, they have codependency, and that codependency needs therapy, and that therapy needs to be face to face and taken care of, because it's a very long recovery, but even that is possible for you to have, right? You are powerful. Be kind to yourself. Take baby steps. And the baby steps are all kinds of baby steps, right? One of them could be the eating habits. Only eat when you're hungry. Oh, but I always eat when I'm hungry. No. You only eat when you're really hungry and you feel this emptiness in your stomach. You say, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat. Don't eat when you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel like having that chocolate. I feel like having an ice cream. That hamburger looks so good. But you already ate like an hour ago, right? Or it's almost 8 o'clock, time for bed. Why would you eat? You see, your digestive system is working all night and you start eating all this stuff. It's not healthy for you. That's not self-love. That's just sabotaging your health, you know. But that takes baby steps. The baby steps of exercising. Just walk one block, or go to the corner and come back. 3 times a day, go to the corner and come back. Just walk around a little bit and come back. Little by little, you start feeling, since you're doing it every day, you start feeling you can do another block and another block. Everything is baby steps. When you start noticing yourself criticizing, you take a breath and you said, oh my gosh, I just said I'm fat. I X that. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I called me fat. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I won't do that again. I'm gonna work hard to lose the weight for my own health, for my heart, for my arteries, for my diabetes, for my high cholesterol, my high blood pressure. I wanna work hard. I want to be healthy for myself. Oh no, I want to be healthy because of my children. No, the children grow and they go. You're going to be healthy for yourself, okay? Oh, I want to do this for my son. No, my husband, no. Because when you're doing things for yourself, you're going to realize that because you're the better version of yourself, everything is going to fall into place and your loved ones are going to be happy. You're going to be bringing happiness to them because you're the better version of yourself. You're going to find new friends. You're going to find new people, because I have realized, I told you from the beginning, I graduated from the University of Life. There is more good people on earth than bad. There's more good people on earth than bad. And guess when you're going to start attracting more of them, including the love of your life, if you're looking for one. That's when you become the better version of yourself, and you forgive yourself, and you learn about yourself, and you give yourself all the best things that you can do, you know. And another thing that's very important is which I'm going to close this one today with this, which is very important. This was hard for me, and sometimes that's still hard. But be proud of yourself. That's the most difficult one. to almost the entire humanity to be proud of yourself. We want to make someone proud of us, and there's lots of people who become very wealthy and still don't feel full because they wanted mom or dad to be proud of them. And they build this big empire for this particular thing to be proud of them. So that emptiness, that space will always be empty, no matter what empire you build. You have to be proud of you. I am proud I built this. I'm proud I built this chair. I'm proud I remodeled my kitchen all by myself. And it looks nice. And I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it. I'm proud of myself remodeling my own kitchen. So be proud of everything and anything you do. But more proud when you start taking the baby steps towards your happiness. And I hope, and I started doing these lessons because I really want happiness in people, in humanity. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of people going through so much pain. When I look at TikTok and I look at Instagram, Facebook, there's so many things going on out there. Accidents, abuse, rapes, drugs, alcohol, violence, wars, political chaos, Wall Street collapsing up and down, misunderstandings. And I feel that if we work one person at a time from the inside, with feelings and with true passion to help ourselves, believe it or not, we're going to be so good with ourselves and so happy that you will be able to attract everything you want, but we're also going to be able to make a difference in the world. It cannot be that we're going to end up like this. A little earthquake can take all of us down. So let's just us work with ourselves. The only power we have is our reactions to whatever comes to us. We have no other power, but how are we going to react? And how are we going to do things for ourselves, right? So leave your homework, write down what you want, and write down the things, a list of the things you have to forgive yourself for, and a list of the things you have to forgive the things you've done to others, on purpose or by mistake. If you hurt anybody, write it down. Just take it out of your soul. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next time.